Hi, and welcome to a special episode of Know Before You Buy. Today, Ronit Mazzoni is going to demonstrate how she uses her GE Cafe induction top burner. This is a product that people have been asking for a while, so I am grateful to her for taking the time to show you how well hers works for her. Enjoy.
Hello everyone, my name is Ronit and I'm going to show you a little demo of our GE Cafe induction range. We actually have a model which has a double oven, but there are other models. We were looking for a new appliance as we were doing a kitchen remodel this summer, and we really wanted an induction stovetop. And so most of the ones that we found had touch screens, but this particular model from the GE Cafe line, which I'll give our model number, but you'll want to look this up, and there's different iterations of different models, but this one happens to be the CHSS950-P2MS1. Again, this is an induction cooktop, a flat top cooktop on top with two ovens below it. And this particular model has knobs to turn on the burners rather than a touch screen, which most of the other brands are selling these days. This particular model has been out for a few years now. We're recording this at the end of 2024, and I do believe that it has been available for about 4 years or so. So hoping that they continue this trend, but if anyone's looking for an induction cooktop, this is one that we recommend. So the first thing I'm going to show you is how the knobs work to turn on the stove, as well as placing a pot to boil water. So over here I have my pot that I have filled with water that I want to boil. Currently I'm going to be using the leftmost front burner of the stove, and so in order to place my pot, I did have someone sighted show me generally where the burner was, but now when I place a pot on the stove, I use my hands and my fingers a little bit to measure to see how far from the edge I am. There's a little rubber line here at the edge of the stovetop, and I usually put about 2 fingers in the front and about 3 fingers on the left side. And I might not be perfect, but I'm good enough for that front left burner. So now in the front of the stove, you can see here there are several dials here. The dials do have tactile arrows, so you can see so you can feel where they're pointing. So now I'm going to select my corresponding knob for this particular burner. I'm actually going to turn it counterclockwise because that's going to get me to the highest temperature first. So I'm going to push it in and turn it to about 11 a.m. And if you can hear that, that is the sound of what the burner sounds like when it has contact with a pot that is able to conduct that electricity. If you happen to turn a knob on with no pot on it, you won't hear that sound. So this is kind of a good cue that the pot is, for the most part, centered on the burner. And as you turn the knob around counterclockwise now, that will be lowering the temperature, and then the sound gets lower and lower as you turn. But generally, we keep it on high when we're trying to boil water because it does it pretty quickly. And then you just use the rest of your auditory cues to know when the water is boiling. And it just takes about maybe 5 minutes or so. So that's how I use the stovetop. It's pretty easy, pretty intuitive, just like any other that you would think of. I'm going to turn this off now. This is also a Wi-Fi enabled model, and so you can control and view what is happening with the appliance on the Smart HQ app. I'm currently using an iPhone, and I don't know for sure if there probably is one for Android, but I'm currently using an iPhone. The oven controls on this appliance are all touchscreen, so it's difficult to use it if you can't see because it's very, very touch sensitive, and if you brush your finger on it, you're gonna accidentally hit things. So I try to keep my hands away from that middle section, but there is an option there that you can label with a bump dot or have someone help turn on for you, which is a remote enable button, which allows you to select options from the app to turn on the oven. And so there's options to select for the temperature, the type of bake, broil, all of those things from the app. And you can turn on the oven, know that your temperature is set, and then of course the app will also tell you when your oven preheat is ready. You can set the timers on the app as well. And when you have the stovetop on, you can also see what percentage of heat or power you're using on each burner. So if you're not totally sure if there's a burner on, you can always check to see, are there any burners, that tells you which burner it is and what percentage of power is currently being used. And then of course the appliance as a whole, is it on or off? You can see from the app. So if you have forgotten to check to see if your oven is off or if your stove is off, you can always check that and do that. So the app is relatively accessible, although I think that you would definitely need some site assistance to get it set up initially, because the Wi-Fi has to be enabled, and you have to use some help getting some information from the screen as the appliance is being set up on your network. But overall, it's a really great appliance, and we love that we can have an induction cooktop, which is definitely exciting and can cook things a lot faster, and an oven that I can set independently. If there's any questions, we would be happy to take any. Please leave a comment, and we'll get back to you. Thanks for watching.
Thank you again to Ronit for providing us such a great, insightful look into her induction top stove. So many of these stoves are out there, and this is the first time I've heard of one that a blind person can use. Please click subscribe and join us for another episode of Know Before You Buy soon.